Hello, ECAN Nation. Welcome to a new edition of our Face2Face. It is Wednesday, April the 16th right now, episode number 86 of our Face2Face show. Myself, of course, Rob Howard, alongside my friend David Cole. And indeed, David, this is a different one. This isn't a racing series promoter. This isn't event or drivers or whatever. This is something completely new. We're going to be talking to Race Liberante today from FAT Karting, Fat Karting. We'll kind of go into the history of the name as well to a certain extent. But this is something that's brand new, David, really designed to bring new people into the sport. And one of the primary guy behind it is a Formula One engineer named Rob Smedley. Race is the hub manager here of this new program in the U.S., something brand new for the sport that's going to bring new people in to karting for sure.
Yeah, Race Liberante is about the only thing we know about it right now going in, other than the quick questions we kind of asked him before. And of course, the articles we have published already on the website talking about this. Again, it's something that's unique and different, but with a focus of bringing people into the sport and finding a way to help promote them up through the ranks and into car racing. So, and again, without the financial barriers that are attached with racing, as we've known over, especially over the last 20 years, we've seen increase substantially with drivers trying to become professional drivers, or at least break into type of form of motorsports is outside of karting. But for us mainly, and for me, I know this is dear to Race as well too, it's about getting new people in the sport.
Yeah.
That's something we've always talked about. It's something we've always tried to. Obviously, the Operation Grassroots has done an amazing job with that. But again, still there's that barrier of, I got to have a cart, I got to have an engine, I got to have all this, I got to place it somewhere,
Yep.
I got to store it somewhere, I got to get it to the racetrack, tools, all that stuff. Yeah. So again, we're in a different era in terms of people liking racing and motorsports, where there's not a lot of gearheads that are out there that there used to be back in, when motorsports was massive and huge. But there's still those people. But in order to introduce, especially karting, you got to find a way to get them there. So I think this is a great solution to that.
And let's look at, so obviously, first and foremost, this thing kind of came to us when Race got on board. We knew that was happening. I'd heard about it happening over in the UK. It lands here and it's going to launch in the US. Race Liberante steps forward to be essentially their front man here in the US, their hub manager, if you will. And so we jumped on board. We're like, okay, this is really interesting, because you and I have talked a lot, David, about over the years and to people in the sport about, hey, how do we grow karting? How do we bring new people in? And everybody's so busy doing what they're doing. The series run their own series. The promoters run their own event. Teams are really doing their own deal. And we don't have those brick and mortar shops anymore that someone can just drive by, see a go-kart shop and come in and want to talk to somebody about it. A lot of guys get into indoor karting, but there's really not that great transition between indoor karting and outdoor karting where they really teach you when you're at the track, or even want to. They want to keep you in the indoor tracks. But we talk about that barrier of entry, all that stuff that it costs a driver to maybe, hey, I found about karting. Hey, I watched Formula One Drive to Survive. How do I go kart racing like all these stars do? And they find out, they maybe do some research, and they find out that it's going to cost a lot of money and it's going to cost a lot of time. This new program, Fat Karting, is all about, it's arrive and drive. You don't need a helmet and suit. You get that when you get there. You pay a smaller amount of money and you get to come and drive. And a lot's going to happen. They're just getting things started with their tryouts, essentially coming to try the machinery out last weekend at Newcastle and over the next couple of weeks. So I think, first of all, we're going to bring Race in here but in a second. If you have any questions at all, I want this to be really interactive, because I'm sure a lot of people have questions about Fat Karting, about what's going on. Just drop them in the comments, whether you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook. Drop it in the comments. We'll bring it in for Race, and we'll get those questions answered. So let's bring Race in right now, David. Let's get him in here right now, because he's the guy that can essentially kind of tell us what's going on. He's the man.
Sorry, I dropped out there.
Let
me bring him in.
There you go. David doesn't have the best internet, even though he's at home.
I'm getting fiber soon. So
the kids are playing video games upstairs, and
there's Fortnite going on upstairs.
Yeah. Exactly right. Well, Race, first off, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. This is obviously something new to you. We've watched you grow up through the years as a karter in segments of the industry. When we first talked to the people at Fat Karting, we talked about the fact that, hey, you've picked a guy with a lot of passion to kind of carry your flag over here. Do we just start by potentially how you got connected with this? Then we can kind of dive into more of the particulars of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I ended up meeting Ross and Matt, who are one of them's an engineer, one of the lead engineers here, does a little bit of work in Formula One stuff too. And Ross, who's one of the business development roles at Fat Karting League. They came in on a tour to the U.S. to check out different tracks. They found themselves at Whiteland, where the MPG shop is. So they were strolling through the shop, and I ended up meeting those guys there. They told me a little bit about what they're doing. My first question was, how the heck do you make that work? And a couple months later, they reached out, really proposed what they were trying to do here in the United States and what they were already doing in the UK. And I mean, you guys have known me almost my whole life, and this is what I eat, sleep, and breathe. It's in my name, obviously. Like it's my life. So when I had an opportunity to finally help move the needle for this sport, I've tried. You guys have seen me try. I've made my own go-karts. I've had my own race team. I've had a brick and mortar kart shop at a track, right, with the guys at MPG. I've pretty much been in every corner of the industry thus far, and honestly, like, just none of it moves the needle enough to make a big difference. Like I've been able to create opportunities for kids to branch out and do a little bit more, but it's been really difficult to survive in this industry by doing more than just going racing and catering to what's already there. We didn't get the time at MPG to go to high schools and elementary schools and do a lot of the work locally that we've wanted to do over the years. And when this kind of came up and they presented me what the theory is behind it and the philosophy that they want to roll out here in the States, it was honestly a no-brainer because it coexists with my passion so much.
It's interesting because we always talk about that pyramid, right, with pro racing at the top and kind of club level grassroots Briggs and Stratton, Briggs 206 racing at the bottom. This kind of takes that step one down and opens the door and says, hey, you think racing's cool? Come and try this, and we're going to make it super easy for you. Again, I'll throw a couple things that you can feel it and aimed at making motorsports accessible, appealing to aspiring young racers. It's all electric karts. That's a very interesting thing as well. I think it would draw a lot of people in with being electric. You got the latest EV technology, as we know. The cool thing is it's already been done in the UK race as well, right? It's a very successful program in the UK. It's rocking. They got lots of people coming in with the regional and pro stuff. Now coming in here, really, this is that second opportunity. It's not like it's brand new before. They've done this once before. This is them replicating it in the United States. Am I correct with that?
Yeah, and I would say like the hub here is an improvement to what they have, at least kart wise. This is Gen 3 of the go-karts. This is revision 3. So we're continuing to develop the go-kart. And a little bit of that I'm gonna be involved in as well to make it the best it can absolutely be. I'm absolutely new to EV stuff. I've been an engine guy my whole life, but I'm learning a lot about the EV side of things. We're honing in a lot of things on the go-kart. They really brought me in, like, not only to bring this to the States, but obviously with my past experiences in motorsports, making it actually even, right? The competition needs to be as even as humanly possible. The parity needs to be there. So that's the other part of my role is providing that parity properly to the consumer.
We've got some new people that have come in here on the show. Again, if you have any questions at all, feel free to drop them in the comments. We'll bring it in for Race Liberante here, talking, of course, about fat karting. So let's go with this. Let's just kind of give an overview here before we dive in. You guys are having tryouts, essentially chances for drivers to come out, try the equipment. You were at Newcastle this past weekend. You had a fantastic kind of opening round, a couple minor things you guys dealt with, got it all smoothed out. This weekend, you're at Kart Circuit Autobahn. The following weekend at Norway Motorsports Park, and then the following weekend at G&J Kartways in Ohio. So 4 different kind of tryouts where people in the area can come in and try these karts out, try the program out. You have classes for Bambino 5 to 9, Cadet 8 to 13, and Junior 12 to 17. And that's the cutoff, right, Race? 17 years of age, and that's it.
Yeah, we have no adult class. That's it. The day you turn 18, you're no longer eligible for our program. Okay. But the big thing is with this, like, getting kids into the sport, right? Like we've all talked about it. I don't know how many times I've been on here or other platforms where we've discussed, how do we grow the sport? How do we get new kids in the sport? How do we keep this sport healthy, right? And it's become this kind of cycle of different people changing to different teams, and the economy of karting has just kind of been swirling around. Yeah. And there hasn't been an influx of new customers and new consumers, right? New racers. So that's really what struck a nerve with me, right? And created, it reignited a fire and a passion in the sport for me, was bringing new kids into the sport and starting their racing careers out young. Not only do we start kids racing careers, but we're one of the only platforms in the United States or even around the world that's offering a package big enough to actually advance your racing career into a fully funded F4 seat in Europe. So we're hitting both ends of that spectrum. There's kids that are getting into the sport, and we want them to stay with us throughout their racing careers. We want to find that next, Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, Brian Norberg, whatever it may be, right? We're looking for that next kid, and it could be absolutely some kid and some family that maybe couldn't, didn't have access to the sport, didn't know where to start. So many people came up to me at Newcastle like, man, thank you guys so much for doing this. We were trying to get into karting for years, and we have no idea where to start. Buying a cart off Craigslist ain't the way to do it, right? You need support. You need to know who to go to, right? And past going on ekn.com, like there's not much information out there, and there's not enough information out there to really get them going. So this is an easy way to get started. It's an easy way to fill pastime. If you're a pro level driver, this is another way to get cheap, inexpensive, and obviously affordable experience in a go-kart, more laps, more seat time, and to go shoot for a prize to really extend your racing career to the next level.
So let's get that next level of people that are maybe watching or listening here for the first time. So the tryouts you have right now are essentially for people to try the equipment, but you also evaluate them, do some coaching while you're there, because you have a regional series and a pro series. So at these tryouts, you're going to be able to say to a driver, hey, listen, you're brand new. You start in the regional series. Or, hey, you know what? You're more experienced or you're super good. You may want to think about running in our pro series. Is that kind of the way it sets up with your tryouts?
Yeah, so it's not like what we would deem a tryout in the United States, right? A tryout for us would be trying out for a team and seeing if you make it. They marketed this as a tryout because it's simply come try the equipment, come try out our series, come try out our program, right? We have a ready to race program for brand new drivers getting into the sport, where we're going to take them from, the 101 basics all the way to the advanced driving techniques. And we're utilizing those tryouts to help the families place their drivers and their kids where they need to be, right? If you're newer, you're coming from outdoor or indoor to outdoor racing, we most likely will suggest the regional championship to get started, to really understand the fundamentals of kart racing, the racecraft side of things, right? All these things that you need to learn over time. And if you're a standout talent, whether you're from the indoor scene or you're already established on the outdoor professional, pro level scene, obviously we'll push you towards the pro championship so you can go compete for a potential seat in an European F4 seat, right?
Yeah.
So you said Ignite. Here's a question. So is this like a spec kart more than even the Ignite package? Is there any tuning needed? Like kind of answer Joseph's question on that.
Yeah, Joe, we don't actually do any, so it's up to myself and then AJ Naud, who's a veteran in the sport as well. He's the shop manager. He's in charge of actually prepping all these go-karts. So dude has got 30 years of racing experience, has won at the pinnacle of karting as well. So we've got some really, really intelligent people in the back shop there. I didn't just pick some guys off the streets. These are real karting professionals, real mechanics and tuners out there, to make sure everything is as equal as humanly possible. We don't do any tuning on the kart, but every single week they go through a process where they get put on a chassis table thanks to Kart Lift, and then they go through the alignment process. They go through a preparation process after that, but everything's to be ensured it's straight, ready to go, and prepared the exact same way. I mean, even things down to, we're looking at, camber and caster for tire wear and longevity. We're cycling the tires evenly as we go through everything. So we're really, really taking that extra step, because we know, right? Like, after this is my 27th year in this sport, we know when things are when the parity starts falling off and why, at least from the go-kart side, right? Yeah. And the things that I personally mounted 70 seats in these go-karts.
Look, hold on. Let me throw this out, Race. Let me throw this out there. People don't realize, you and I talked about this. How big is the fleet for this program?
70 go-karts.
70 go-karts. That's amazing to me. Yeah.
Yeah. It's massive. It's a lot. But yeah.
Yeah. So basically it's a true arrive and drive. You walk in, you get the helmet, you get the suit, you jump in the cart and you learn, or you drive, whichever level that you're at.
Yep. Yep. And you don't have to work on it. You don't have to do anything. I mean, most of the parents at Newcastle were buying beers in the middle of the day hanging out, just having fun. So there is absolutely zero work as a parent you have to do when you show up to our series. You don't even have to, again, like you alluded to, you don't have to even own your own equipment, right? Your own race gear. Now, when we go pro racing, it is required you have your own race gear. But for the Ready to Race program, the tryouts, any open tests we have Saturdays before a race, there's no, you don't have to have your own gear. It's only the pro championship we're going to require the drivers to have their own gear, just so we're with the, the FIA standards and the Snell ratings and yada, yada.
We pause our face-to-face broadcast for this quick commercial break. Stay tuned for more here on the EKN Radio Network. History, success, family. Those are the three words that can describe Comet Kart Sales, one of the longest tenured karting businesses in the United States. The family-owned operation located just outside of Indianapolis has provided karts, parts, and services for thousands of racers in the near 6 decades of business. Their online store features everything you need, continually adding new parts to their product line. From full karting packages, new engines, spare or replacement parts, and safety gear, find it all at CometKartSales.com. Their Comet Racing Engine service has won multiple major events and championships over decades of karting and continues to offer the best trackside service in the industry, specializing in IAME X30, IAME Swift, and other 2-cycle power plants. Make sure to head to CometKartSales.com or call them at 317-462-3413 to be part of the Comet Kart Sales family today.
Welcome to AIM Sports and the groundbreaking Micron 6 karting data logger. Since its inception, AIM Sports has been at the forefront of motorsport technology, revolutionizing how racers gather data. From its early days, AIM has tailored its innovations to provide precise insights, allowing racers to fine-tune their strategies and push their limits. Fast forward to today, and we're excited to celebrate 30 years of Micron by introducing the latest evolution in karting data loggers, the Micron 6. Designed with cutting-edge features, including 25Hz GPS with mil-spec precision, a 6-axis inertial platform, shift lights and alarms, temperature inputs, and a host of wired and wireless expansions. With 2 CAN buses, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi, it's perfect for karting enthusiasts looking to enhance their game on the track. With its advanced suite of sensors, high-speed data acquisition, and easy-to-use interface, the Micron 6 delivers unparalleled performance on track. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, this powerful tool helps you analyze every turn, every lap, even every heartbeat. Imagine a tool that not only records your lap times, but also analyzes parameters like speed, tire temperature, driver inputs, and engine performance. With the Micron 6, you'll gain insights that can shave seconds off your times and elevate your skills behind the wheel. Don't just drive, be data-driven. Join the AIM Sports community today and equip yourself with the Micron 6 to take your karting experience to the next level. Visit aimsports.com to learn more. AIM Sports, 30 years of Micron.
Welcome back to Face2Face on the EKN Radio Network. Race. So you just had your first one these past Saturday and Sunday at Newcastle Motorsports Park. We talked about new people coming in. I'm sure you had a bunch of let's say, existing karters that may be thinking about trying to go to the Pro Series. You have this, there's going to be this World Finals and then a shootout kind of thing to go get this F4 ride. How many new people did you have a lot of brand new people coming in?
Yeah, over the weekend. So the way it's broken up, you can book a morning, afternoon session Saturday, same for Sunday. So there's opportunity for 4 different groups to hit our events. And we had a total of 50 drivers, give or take a few, right? But 50 drivers that were never in a go-kart seat in their life, other than maybe a local fun land or, outdoor adventure park or whatever. Other than that, they were green and brand new. I mean, the amount of kid kart kids we have signed up for this weekend is amazing. I haven't seen a kid kart class with over 15 entries in it since I was in kid kart. I remember we used to have 30 or 40 back in the day. So we're getting big kid kart numbers, or Bambinos as we classify it. But we're just seeing so many new kids already getting into the sport and wanting to try the sport out. So that alone, so the way we differentiate those, the way I could see that they were when you're in the Ready to Race program, we have different colored like ski bib type overalls that you would put on over the suit. And that helps the pro drivers notify them that, hey, this is a newer driver, take some caution when you're driving out there with them, right? Don't forget when you were a new driver, it was very intimidating. So show them respect as well. But so we can identify how we're coaching them. And so when I'm in the driver's briefing and I just saw this sea of lime green, which is where you would start, I just couldn't believe like how I stopped and looked at it. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, I haven't seen this many new drivers in one space in my life. And that alone right there was like, I'm already here, but I was sold like, at that point.
Hey, listen, I got to believe there was a lot of smiles there. Like
there was.
I remember the first time I had my first kart, got a chance to drive. I think Dave will remember his first time. All these kids out there at a track like Newcastle Motorsports Park, when you roll into that place, you realize you're at a pretty cool racetrack. I got to think there were a lot of happy people at the end of every one of your runs, morning, afternoon runs.
Yeah, you guys know, like you travel the nation doing the national thing forever, and there's more pissed off people than happy people most weekends, right? Because they didn't get the result they wanted. Yeah. And these kids, the kids were all smiles. I mean, it's 100% success rate. You put a kid in a go-kart and they had fun every time, right? Yeah. And the families were super excited because it was hands off, right? Like they don't have to be educated to be in our program, which is a huge part of the sport. It's probably the biggest barrier to entry is finding that level of support. Or else it just takes time.
Race is so intimidating when you're a parent like that. You don't know, right? You take away that intimidation factor.
Yeah, the amount of like one-on-one conversations I have with parents that mainly the Bambino and the cadet kids. We had a good mix of new drivers and experienced drivers in the junior category. But the amount of parents I talked to, they're like, man, thank you. Like they were thanking me for doing this, right? And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I don't think I've been thanked at a go-kart track in 10 years, other than when we win races, right? Yeah. But these families were just having the time of their lives because the families, the parents, they could just do their thing. Some of them were working, some of them were soaking it all in, trying to learn as much as they could. A lot of them have interest in getting into karting past this, right, and getting into the sport, and that's something that we absolutely will help them with, and give them the advice they need to make the right decision the first time. But they were just all so excited that this was finally on the market. This was something that they could just, all they got to do is take the time out of their day to show up and bring their kid and let them have fun.
Race, well, what's the cost of one of the tryout days? We know you have 3 more weekends still to come. If somebody wants to come out and again try the equipment, meet you guys, learn more about the program, what's it cost for one of the morning or afternoon shifts?
Yeah, it's less than $400 to come run your sessions, right? And that's all inclusive. That's coaching. That's all the suit, the helmet, all the safety gear. It's all brand new safety gear, all level 2 FIA stuff. We didn't cheap out on any of this stuff. It's all really, really good equipment. We always bring in, my job is to bring in the right coaches. I'm bringing in locals from each racetrack that have more experience than the rest of us at that particular circuit. They know where every bump in the road is, every nook and cranny in the surface, right? So we're really excited to offer a full package for, really less than what most people could go run their own go-kart for a day for in reality.
Let's bring this in here right now. We just got Robert Fees just posted this. I love it. Had a few Bambino kids brand new to the sport come up and give me hugs afterwards after driver coaching. Definitely some happy kids out there. Robert, that is what we're talking about. That is amazing for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Robert was a great coach for the Bambinos. Robert has 2 kids himself. I actually helped get Robert started in the sport with Darren Harden way back when. I used to coach him a little bit when I was running with Harden. And I knew he was the right guy to bring in for not only that track, he's got 1 million miles around it by now, but he's raising kids himself right now that are racers. And he did a phenomenal job with the Bambino kids. They were all brand new. And honestly, a little side note, like the electric stuff, again, it's very new to all of us in the sport, but I couldn't believe how much better the kids did in the Bambinos, especially it was electric, right? That stimulation of the noise and the vibration from a 2-cycle engine, or even the 4-cycle engines on the kid kart, that's pretty stimulating for a 5-year-old. So these kids just really all took to, like, some of them, that you would tell, like, I don't really know how this is going to go. They went out there, first session was a little rocky, like you would expect. And then from there, like, one of the kids, he was fresh 5-year-old. We were able to turn him up to maximum power at the end of the day because he was just wheeling the thing and he had no fear about it. But I personally coached probably 50 kids over my life in kid karts, and I've never actually had the experience I just had this weekend watching the development and how the ease it was for them, how much ease there was for them to actually get started because of that lack, less stimulation in the cart.
No, listen, if there's a kid sitting beside the edge and things revving up, that's of course something that's brand new to them. I agree with that, and that's a really good point. Here's another question for you. Oh, David, go.
I was gonna say it's an easy transition from the Hot Wheel cars to that, right?
Power wheels,
Yeah.
Power wheels.
Yeah,
For a 5-year-old.
much more fun there. Yeah.
Evo's asking, will Fat run the tryout if it rains?
Absolutely. We rerun rain or shine, but the little kicker here, which I totally agree with, this is how I grew up practicing in the rain. We're on slicks.
Yep. Yeah, there you go.
We're not mountain rain tires. We're running them on slicks. There's a reason why the Brits have always come and kicked our butts in the rain, and that's because they run on slicks on practice days in the rain. So rain or shine, we are on slick tires, whether we're racing, trying out, whatever it may be. These go-karts are weatherproofed. Everything on here is waterproofed. And it's a 48-volt system. A lot of people don't know really the differences in the EV technology out there. There's other systems on the market that are up to 120 volts, which are, have to be handled with extreme care, have to be meticulously worked on, have to be handled by everybody other than the driver. And this isn't like that. This is a 48-volt system. It's the safest system on the market. So we're really excited this weekend it's supposed to rain. Bring it on.
Come on out. Let's go. Andy Statesman's asking about your staff. Who's on your staff? Anyone I know? Did you want to shout out some of your staff?
Yeah, primarily AJ Nowd. He's the management in the shop. Gavin Griffin, a kid that I've helped groom over the years as a great mechanic, former driver himself. Annie Rule works here. She is the customer experience lead. So we brought her in because of obviously her many, many years of experience racing go-karts. So she's the perfect person to walk the families through what they're getting into, talking to the kids. So that's her whole job, is at the events, just making sure the kids and the families have everything they need, the information they need, they know when to be where. Right. So she's just kind of tying it all together. Any of the FAQs, that's the go-to is Annie Rule. So we have a really good staff of professionals here that have lifetime in motorsports.
So again, out of these tryouts now, if someone is new to the sport, they go to your regional program, and that's going to be based solely at Newcastle Motorsports Park. 9 events from May to October. Are they 2-day events, or is it a test day? Like, is there practice one day and then Sunday is the race day? How do your regional program work out?
Yeah, so all of our Saturday stuff is still open. So there's going to be kids throughout the year that come and are still getting into the sport, right? Like we could be in the middle of summer, and if they're looking to get into the sport and they haven't been with us through the tryouts, it's no problem. We'll start you out on the Saturday practice days. We'll go put you through that ready to race program. So you may need to book a couple Saturdays for us to graduate you into a racing scenario. We just want to make sure you're safe, right? The kids need to be safe. Their safety is priority to us. And we want them to excel, right? We don't want to put a kid in an environment they're going to fail and then not want to be in the sport.
So you have a ready to race program within the whole program itself?
Yep. That's a coaching program for drivers that are showing up for the first time ever, never been coached before, never been in an indoor kart before, right? Never really had any exterior help to progress. That's what the Ready to Race program is for. And then once they graduate from that, which could take up, a minimal 2 to 3 weekends of testing, right? Test days. They can easily graduate from that if they progress enough. And then they would go into the regional program to get their racing career started. We do it all at one track because, as you guys know, when you got started, going to different racetracks and changing the environment constantly is not necessarily the healthiest thing for your development. You need to kind of perfect where you're at and where you're starting right now. So we decided to do a deal with Newcastle Motorsports Park to host us for the whole regional event, and it's local, right? People don't, new families into the sport, they don't need to be traveling crazy far and really living the lifestyle that we all live right this second, right? So it's kind of like our club series. And once you graduate from that club series, now you don't have to be the champion to move up. We may find a kid in the regional that deserves to be at the world finals because they've progressed through the years so much. So it's really just the proving grounds for the start of your racing career. And after that, graduate up to the pro championship and develop your skills from there.
So the pro championship program, David, you want to ask a question about that or something else?
No, I was going to say, because Indianapolis is, about 4 hours from Detroit. It's close to Ohio, Illinois. You have the ability to draw in from, like you said, like Indianapolis is the hub. You have the ability to draw in from all these metropolitan areas into Indy, to where, like you said, you're not traveling massive amounts of hours a lot for that. But yeah, getting into the pro series, kind of how did that develop? And obviously, how did you get working with the racetracks that you included on that?
Yeah, so it started out, the guys, when they were here touring, they went and visited all the racetracks in the Midwest. They knew they wanted to find home here in the Midwest first. Obviously, Indianapolis is the mecca of motorsports in the United States with the 500 and everything else that goes on the IMS. So it just made sense to start here. But putting some of those deals together, that was, this is my first go. This is probably the one thing I haven't done is promote in the sport. I really haven't done much of any of that before. So started getting with the tracks, and we kind of handpicked the tracks. One, we were a little late to picking out dates and things like that compared to the other series. Most of that gets started in, at the end of the year. And then it rolls into the next year after you finalize some of that. So figuring out, one, what was available, but two, we wanted to hit all the different markets. So we didn't want to just stay right here in Indianapolis. We wanted to go up to, Road America is a beautiful racetrack, one of the best in the country, in my opinion, one of my favorites. So we wanted to go up to places like that. Quaker in Ohio, brand new racetrack that's opening up here soon. We struck a deal with them really early. Super excited to go to that place. If you guys haven't seen it yet, it's an amazing facility.
Yeah, Quaker City.
But
amazing.
Yeah, beautiful place. G&J, OG, right? It's one of the oldest go-kart tracks in the country. WK was founded there. So like just some history behind that. They just repaved, right? So, but we weren't looking for these like massive tracks, right? Like with the EV stuff, we don't need, we're not using the whole track at Newcastle. We're utilizing a similar layout to what like CKNA Grand Nationals uses. So shortening up that straightaway a little bit, keeping it a little more technical on the infield. And I think that's just going to, one, help the drivers develop, and two, promote better racing. So I chose tracks that I thought would help develop the drivers and really test their skills, right? We're looking for the next Hamilton, Verstappen, whatever. We want a kid with this amazing amount of talent to come through our program, put them in the F4 seat, and prove to the world that money doesn't buy talent, right? You can come do this for next to nothing. The season pass is about what most of my customers in the past have spent in one weekend. Yeah. So that's what we're looking for.
What's the format for the Pro Series, like for the weekend itself and then overall?
Yeah, so it's a 9-round championship right now, and that's subject to move around a little bit. Talking to some of the pro families, obviously some of the kids we have interested are factory drivers for other brands. But, dangling this F4 seat is something to really come shoot for. It really is. There's no other program in America offering anything like that. So it's really interesting to a lot of these talented individuals. I really didn't know coming into this, like, okay, what is our target market? And as I'm learning, it's everyone, whether you're starting or you're looking to take the next step in your racing career. An F4 seat nowadays is not very affordable. Entry-level Formula car racing has gotten a bit out of hand for the average Joe, right? So the dream, is a lot harder for most than it is. I've told people throughout my years of racing, like I've truly raced pretty much everything you can race. And I came back to karting in 2019. I remember, Rob, when we were at Cal Speed, you and I were talking like, where you been? And I was gone for 10 years. And I came back to karting, and specifically Pro Shifter at the time, because truly the best competition I've ever raced in my life is at in the karting level. Why is that? That's because the barrier to entry and the cost of doing so is a lot less than car racing. So the talent pool doesn't get deeper the higher you go up the ladder, right? It stops at karting most of the time. So we're here to fix that. So it's a 9-round championship. You're going to get some drops. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the top 10 in points. They're going to go to the world finals, which we will have. And right now is the best time to get in because there's only 2 hubs in the world. The world finals it's got the most opportunity to get there than any other time you're ever going to enter Fat Karting League, right? Next year, we're going to have 4 to 6 hubs. Year after that, we're going to keep growing. We're going to go up to 50 around the world. That's the game plan for this. And we're going to hope to have 5 to 6 in the United States over time. So this is the easier to get to the easiest year you're ever going to get to the world finals. We're going to take the top 10 in points from the pro, top 10 from England, and they're going to show down at the world finals. And then the winners at that will get an opportunity to go to a shootout in the F4 car. And the winner will be crowned from there.
Wow. We pause our face-to-face broadcast for this quick commercial break. Stay tuned for more here on the EKN Radio Network. What brand is known around the world for its innovation and success? It is SodiCart. The Sodi brand returned in full force during the 2023 season thanks to the new exclusive importer, the Karting Distribution, led by industry veteran Terry Germanovich. The French manufacturer SodiCart is a leader within the karting industry, offering a wide range of products and services. The Sodi Racing chassis line offers product in classes from mini karts to KZ, all based on years of development and championship seasons around the world. Sodi Racing USA has expanded its dealer network over the last year, bringing the Sodi brand to several local clubs and regional programs. The Sodi Racing USA by PK Sports is the official race team, producing many victories in different levels across the board. And the new Pro Race Academy is designed to cater to the next generation of motor racing, helping boys and girls aiming to make their mark. Visit Sodi-Racing-USA.com to learn more about SodiCart chassis or call 954-634-5111 to become part of the Sodi Racing USA network today. SodiCart, the world leader in the karting industry. Fast, fair, and fun. Ignite Karting offers you all of that at an affordable price. Ignite Karting utilizes the spec Margay Ignite K3 chassis with a Briggs & Stratton 206 engine and the Hoosier R80 tire. Everyone in the rookie, junior, senior, heavy, and masters classes compete on the same Ignite K3 chassis, which puts all the emphasis squarely on driver development. Additionally, Ignite Karting is accessible at the local, regional, and national level. Special events for the season include the Ignite Majors that begin with the annual trip to the Daytona International Speedway as part of the WKA Daytona Kart Week, running in both the sprint and road racing events. Those in the Midwest can enjoy the regionally based Ignite Challenge, featuring 5 iconic facilities. Local club programs have also been established in states all across the country, Idaho to Texas, Nebraska to New York, with more tracks and clubs joining the Ignite Karting program. Be part of fast, fun, and great memories with Margay Racing at an Ignite track near you. All information on Ignite events and Ignite kart packages, including dealers in your area, are available at ignitekarting.com. Get off the couch and onto the track this year. Ignite Karting. Fuel your passion. Welcome back to Face2Face on the EKN Radio Network.
Talk a little bit about the coaching and driver development that you guys are going to be doing. Is it going to be mostly focused at the regional level, or is there going to still be a little bit of that with the pro program?
Yeah, at the pro program, we're really going to try and get these kids ready for their next steps in their racing careers, right? So we're going to focus a lot more, a lot less on what an apex is. We're going to focus a lot more on your racecraft, how you present yourself at the track, right? The professionalism, around being a race car driver, right? The feedback, we still want feedback from these kids. If there's an issue, we'd like to hear that, right? So we can rectify it. 2, it shows that you're paying attention and that you're cued in. So, but we're going to dive a lot deeper into the data that we collect and the nitty gritty to help really finalize that, sharpen the sword per se, and finalize the development on some of these kids.
A question, obviously, you guys are lowering the barrier of entry. You're offering an opportunity, a road to come in. Is there any way, like once this thing starts developing, obviously there's going to be a lot of drivers in your program who may be looking to move on to own their own kart, right? To get into the actual karting community as opposed to being as just part of the FAT program. Is that something that's kind of counterintuitive to what you guys are doing? Or will you guys be working with their drivers throughout the time to kind of set them up to be able to go on their own, to send them off on their own at one point?
Yeah, we absolutely don't want to quote unquote send anybody off, right? Because we truly I just don't know why you would go anywhere, not past this. You absolutely, if people have aspirations to go do more, they have the budget to go do more, do more, develop yourself, right? But stay a part of this program. Some of the partners and the people involved in this program are really high up in the food chain in motorsports around the world. So it's not a lot, it's a really, really good group of people to be in the loop with. It's a really good place to showcase your skill, to earn an opportunity and do a car ride. But absolutely not. Like if you're looking to expand and do more, like I said a little bit earlier, I'm more than willing to help you guys. I'm more than willing to help you branch out. I'll connect you with the right guy in your region that's going to support you the best if I need to.
And Race,
no problem.
Race, like you said, it's really affordable too. Again, to run in your pro series is going to be significantly less than probably it's going to be for one national level event somewhere.
Yeah, I mean the average cost of going racing in Vegas every year is what, $12,000 to $15,000 for a consumer, full of ride and drive, right? That's if you don't own anything, you're paying the team, renting an engine, the whole nine, right? Tires, doing it right, cycling them out like your competition is. It's not a cheap weekend, and our whole series for the junior, all in with Saturday practice and the Sunday race, is less. It's in the $10,000 range total for all of it, and you don't have to come to Saturday if you can't afford to, right? If it's not in the budget, you can come get a season pass for just the races themselves. So yeah, what most people spend in one weekend, maybe two, is what we're offering for a whole season.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is 100. Now, listen, if obviously, let's start with the tryouts right now. You have more events that people can come and try the program, get to see what's going on. Again, next one is this coming weekend at Kart Circuit Autobahn. Are there any availabilities there? I know you had a lot of people at Newcastle.
Yeah, Newcastle is about 80% filled up. This weekend, Saturday, is looking really good. We're about 90% capacity already for that. After Newcastle, we sold, I think, 12 more season tickets. We're doing pretty good on the season pass sales as well. And I think Sunday's a little light. It's Easter. But there still is room to enter on Sunday. Just got off the phone before this with a couple people that are going to come Sunday and check it out and be a part of it. But we still have availability for the last two tryouts. They are limited. They are filling up pretty quick. And I think as we get into this a little further and word of mouth spreads after people have some good experiences and whatnot, I totally feel like we're going to be in a position to sell out season ticket wise at some point. So
how do they get a hold of you? Perfect. Where do they go? Online, connect with you directly? How do they get a hold of you guys?
Yeah, I would say I'm actually completely disconnected from sales.
Okay.
I'm promoting the thing, right? I'm putting the show on and making sure everything's the way people want it to be when they show up. But Annie is a big piece of that side of it. But the best way to do it is go to the website, fat-kartingleague.com, and create an account that just, fill in your kid's info. And from there, it's a pretty easy process to get yourself either a tryout ticket, a season pass, or whatever you may be interested in.
Somebody just asked actually about Zach's asking, how is the G&J event looking as far as availability?
Yeah, no, pretty good availability still. What we're seeing right now is about a week or so before the event, it's starting to really pick up and fill up. I think the G&J event's going to be really, really good just because we're going to hit that whole state of Ohio. We're going to get some fill-ins from kids that want to come again that were here at Newcastle because it's close enough. So I think we're going to hit kind of both sides of the Midwest, I guess you want to say. I believe it's going to fill up pretty quick. G&J is an amazing track too. The staff there are always very welcoming. It's fresh pavement, right? So a lot of things to look forward to at that event too.
David?
How are you getting all the carts everywhere?
Great question.
A lot of logistics, that's for sure. No, we got two big box trucks that the carts go in, and then we have a support trailer that has all the awnings, all of the banners, flags, right? Everything else you use to set up an equipment. But our pit is a lot different than you would see at most tracks. I'm talking to these track owners, right, trying to solidify what tracks we're going to, and I'm like, listen, we don't have the footprint that you see at a normal race. We're setting up one giant tent, which is a bunch of easy ups strung together, guttered up, right, and everything. That's our pit lane. If you imagine like a pit lane at an indoor track, right, each category has their lanes. Chargers go in, right, people sit their butts in seats, chargers come off, switches on, you're out the door. And that's how our pit lane is set up. So the driver coaches aren't just coaches, they're kind of the kids' liaisons. They take them from the coaching room out to the grid, make sure that the kids are happy and fitted properly in the go-karts with our seat tech, our seat fit techs. And then they escort them onto the racetrack, coach them from, the sidelines on the racetrack a little bit, take some notes, and then go back into the classroom setting. So again, it's like super hands off. The families just need to park their butts and seats in the bleachers and have fun.
I said this from the get-go. It is fat karting. It doesn't mean it's for David. Fat karting. So again, the owners, is Rob Spedley, right, and Faraday Porsche, who is again part of the Porsche family. So it's Fat is initially. I wonder because I got this from the website. I'm going to read it right now. It started as a logistics company, Francois Allemand de Transit. That's where the FAT comes from. They used to sponsor racing cars in the 80s and 90s, including a couple of Le Mans winners. So yeah, it's not for David. He's too old anyways, but he's fat enough. It's FAT karting. Just wanted to clear that up for a lot of people that are asking about it. Yes. No. And Faraday is a big piece of what we're doing. He's pushing this forward. He truly believes that we're going to find the next Formula One world champion from this program, and from somewhere in the world. And that's the goal here. There's a lot more developing in the future with this program. That's where his heart is. Rob's been involved in Formula One. He's worked with the best drivers in the world, and he sees a void there. So this is a massive passion project for all of them to get this off the ground and get it to this point and put it in our hands here now to help grow and develop it. But yeah, the Fat brand is a brand at this point. Fat International is a brand. They put on different events around the world, some really cool off the wall stuff. So it's become an amazing project. Faraday's been pushing over the years, and as it grows, this is going to grow, and everybody can grow with it. So we talk about the fact that this is kind of being that thing below the Operation Grassroots, right? The big stuff where you're going to bring new people into the sport. Constantly we hear, how do we get new people? How do we get new people? I'm just going to throw a couple of comments up here for you, Race. Here's one from Keith Preber. Fat has the right guy for the job. I said that because I talked to Ludovic on that one. Here's one from Ryan Rudolph. It's amazing what these guys are doing. Coolest thing in racing right now. And from a guy who knows his stuff. Great job, Race Liberante, from multi-time Rock Island Grand Prix race winner Tony Nielsen. So listen, there's a lot of positivity in this. First and foremost for the program itself, for the concept. Obviously, Race, you being the guy kind of who has always led your career by passion and love of the sport. Again, we first talked to Ludovic. We're like, you got a good guy. Race is the guy that you connected with here. You got to feel like you're kind of at the forefront of something big. And I think, you talked about finding your place within it. You've had Race Factory. You've done the brand, the carts. You've worked for a lot of teams with a lot of kids. I just feel you must feel like you're in something right now that you can really make a difference.
Yeah. And that's ultimately honestly, that's what I've been seeking. Like, I'm not a serial entrepreneur in karting. Like, I never have been. I never wanted to be, right? Like, the Race Factory thing was my dream originally to kick off. And again, I wanted to give kids opportunities. I helped Gage and John Antonino and so many other kids over the years that have become success stories. And, but unfortunately, like, okay, I can't put them in a race car, right? Like, I can't do all these different things. It was still not moving the needle to get new kids into the sport. So when this got brought up, it was just kind of like, man, this is everything I've always wanted to do. Like, this is actually going to make a difference. This is actually going to change things, because honestly, like, I didn't grow up in the best neighborhood. I didn't have the best, settings around in my life as a kid. And what kept me off the streets really and doing, bad things was my passion for motorsports. I've tried, after I got kicked in the what's in my NASCAR career, I tried quitting. I tried giving it up. I tried going and getting a normal job outside of motorsports and just clocking in at a 9 to 5, making good money. And it just wasn't fulfilling something in my soul. And so I obviously came back to racing and tried my hand at so many other things, and ultimately got me to this point. And this is the one thing that's truly going to move the needle. Mark my words, it's going to. We're already bringing new kids into the sport. We're already working with kids that are semi-professionals in the sport to see them shoot out for a shot in an F4 seat eventually. So we are moving the needle actively right now, and that's something that is honestly so near and dear to my heart, because I genuinely have no idea where I'd be without motorsports. I'm just lucky to be a second generation driver.
I was going to ask you if there's anything else you wanted to say, but that feels like it was a pretty perfect wrap up for me, Dave.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Nothing more to say.
Race, thank you so much, man. I listen, it's a Wednesday. I know you didn't sleep hardly at all over the weekend. When I talked to you last week, you were still building go-karts to be ready for Newcastle this past weekend. I'm sure when do you head to G&J? Probably tomorrow, right?
Well, the Autobahn, but tomorrow we head to
Autobahn's next. Autobahn's next.
All good. Yeah, I head out tomorrow with all the event setup equipment. The guys here are re-prepping the carts right now, so it's a quick turnaround time when we're back to back like this.
Yeah.
We're heading out tomorrow evening to set up all of our awnings and our pit lane stuff. We got to get generators in there, right? There's a lot of logistics to it. But then the guys are going to head out Friday morning with re-prep go-karts. And we'll be ready for our first round of drivers on Saturday morning.
Yeah, and no rest after the tryouts, because literally after the tryouts, the last race is at G&J. The next week, I believe you're back at is that your first race at Newcastle the next week, or is it the week after that? No, it's actually you guys are at the Pro Series starts May 10th, 11th.
Yep. Yeah, we have an 8-week straight stretch.
Wow.
And that's why we've been putting in late nights getting these go-karts ready. The build process was very meticulous. Very, very meticulous. There's Rob Smedley still is active in Formula One. There's engineers that work for the company that are active engineers in Formula One, and they've been over here making sure everything is just ready to go, top notch. We're refining things. I'm picking out the little details that I want, refined a little bit more, and I'm really, really dead set on having the parity that everybody wants, that everybody desires, to truly go find the next talent. We don't offer anything in here. There's no extra testing. You can't call us on a Tuesday and come rent a cart and come run it. We don't allow cameras on race day. We don't allow external coaches. Nobody has an advantage by spending more money in this program. No one.
And there's the end right there. Let's cap it off with a couple of quick comments. Austin Queen says, Grassroots Weekend Warriors is where everyone starts. Keep up the hard work, race. Great stuff, my dude. And here's a name from the past. Actually, I was with him this past weekend, though. How about Jose Zanella? Wish you nothing but the best, Race Liberante. Of course, Zanella now with a team in the USF Pro Championships and USF Juniors, winning this past weekend with two of his drivers. But again, I remember watching Jose at Newcastle myself in the Jicka days back in Stars of Karting. So, and I know you've raced against him before. I think Race as well. But listen, we appreciate you taking the time. Again, we jumped on this when we first kind of got a feel for it. Obviously, if you want to learn more, there's a couple of articles on the Karting News. You can 100% go to the Fat Karting website. David linked that up in the comments, folks. So if you're watching this on YouTube or coming back to watch it on Facebook, the link is there. That's where you can get signed up, fill all the forms out, get to one of these tryouts, at least get a feel for this thing, learn what it's like. If you've always wanted to get into karting, this is the opportunity to do it. Race, I appreciate it. Congratulations on this program, being part of it. I'm so excited about what it's going to be able to do here throughout the year.
Yeah, no, thank you guys so much for hosting this and having me on here. Thank you to everybody, all my buddies in there that are sharing the nice comments. Truly, I think it's something, it's finally my chance to give back to this sport and move the needle a little bit. And I'm extremely excited to get going. So thank you guys so much for following it, and let's get racing.
Race, thanks again. You hang out in the green room there. We'll come back and talk to you when we're all done here. David and I are going to wrap things up there. This is, again, you and I have talked so many times about how to bring new people into the sport. Every organization we talk to, how to bring new people into the sport. Shout out to Rob Smedley and Mr. Porsche as well for being part of the action to get this thing happening. It's already rolling in the UK. It's here in the US. We know the geographic expanse of this country. As Ray said, you're not going to only have one hub in the U.S. There's going to be probably a Southwest hub, a Florida hub, wherever it's going to be. These are all, every new hub is going to, I know Race isn't talking about that, but it's going to eventually push new people out of fat karting as well, because they're going to see the other races. They're going to want to potentially get into the primary part of the sport as well.
Yeah, now we have a place to tell people where to go if they're completely brand new. We've had karting schools. We've tried that. We've told people to go to indoor karting. Well, there's not that transition from indoor karting to competition karting. So now this is that voided area in between, like you said, Operation Grassroots and indoor karting, to where we can actually send people to go and like he said, relatively cheap in terms of budget wise for a weekend, for a year, whatever it is. Again, just something that's completely brand new and different for our sport.
That's it. Great chance. I get a chance to talk with Race Liberante. Again, I'll talk about this, folks. The tryouts where you can go sample these machinery this coming weekend, Saturday and Sunday, April 19th and 20th at Kart Circuit Audubon. That's at the Audubon Country Club. Norway Motorsports Park, April the 26th to 27th, Sheridan, Illinois. And then, of course, G&J Kartways Camden in May 2nd to the 3rd. Pro Series actually starts May 10th, 11th. Up in Dousman, Wisconsin. The regional program, as we know, all going to be at Newcastle Motorsports Park. Great program, great start, and a fantastic opportunity to talk to Race Liberante, one of the most passionate guys in our sport. And great to see him at the helm of this program. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. David Cole, thanks for taking some time as well. Folks, this is it. Wrapping up episode number 86 of Face2Face. Fat Karting, definitely doing something great for the sport. On behalf of David Cole, my name is Rob Howden.